So what are the 5 most common reasons for student visa rejection in 2024?
I'm going to tell you exactly what these are.
Also, Gradvine has a 99% student visa acceptance rate. So I'm also going to tell you how to avoid these 5 reasons. So stay tuned. Before I dive into the points, I'm going to tell you that like all of our videos, this video also is based on common sense and logic. Now, the most common reason for a visa rejection is the section 214B, which is immigrant intent. This reason for rejection, and most visa officers worry that you might break the terms of your visa, stay illegally, and overstay your visa period in the US. Therefore, you have to show them that even if you want to stay back, you're going to stay by legal means and not illegally immigrate to the US. So all these reasons that I'm going to state will somehow tie back into this. That being said, the number one most definitive and common reason for visa rejection is going to a poorly reputed university. You'll have to understand that there are thousands of universities in the US, and a large number of them are not universities. They're in fact a business where you're just going to pay a fee and they're going to sponsor your visa, and you're not going to be doing a lot more. There have been several news stories in the past where universities have been blacklisted for this reason. Now, with these blacklisted universities, even if visas have been approved, students have been sent back to immigration. But that's a whole different topic. Now, going to a poorly reputed university will put a doubt in the visa officer's mind. The reason being, they will assume that you will not likely secure a job to activate your OPT after you graduate. Therefore, if you're not finding a job through a legal means, through a traditional job market, you might want to stay back through illegal means. If you go into a good university, visa officers know that you might likely be recruited by a legitimate company, and therefore your OPT will be activated, and then you might go through the legal H-1B route, which is absolutely fine. These are legal systems set in place for a reason, and immigration officers and visa officers don't mind that. The whole problem starts when you go to a poorly reputed university from where they won't believe that you'll get a job in a legitimate manner. So please choose the university you go to wisely, because this is the number one most common reason for visa rejection. Alright, coming to the number two most common reason. It is the master's degree you are going to do not having anything to do with your undergraduate degree. Now, if you have an undergrad degree in animal science or biotechnology or mechanical engineering, and you're applying for a master's in computer science or AI with little or no prior work experience in that area, it is a big red flag to the visa officer. Now, they will first of all wonder how you will cope with the coursework at the university. Secondarily, they'll start wondering if you're not able to cope with the coursework at the university, how are you going to secure a job? And also, if you don't have any prior experience or education in that field, how are you going to be a valuable asset to the university or the US job market as a whole? Therefore, make sure the degree you're applying to has something to do with your undergraduate education or the work experience you've had after you graduate. All right. Number three most common reason for rejection. Now, when the visa officer is satisfied that you're going to a decent enough university for a degree that makes sense in terms of your career trajectory thus far, the next thing they want to know is how you're going to pay for the degree. Having solid documents such as a loan sanction letter which covers your cost of education, or having some sort of family support or sponsorship through bank accounts, mutual funds, or whatever it is incredibly critical. Now, understand this. Most visa officers are not going to sit and go through your documents. It is about how confidently you answer the question. Therefore, if you have a loan or if your parents or your relatives are sponsoring your education, state that confidently and also mention how you're going to be covering the cost of your education. If you give a confident enough answer about this, you should be absolutely fine. All right, reason number 4, unclear ties to your home country. Now, even though you may have a loan or whatever to pay for your tuition fee in the US, visa officers might want to know whether you have enough backing or a background back in your home country so that you won't be desperate enough to immigrate illegally. Therefore, you have to answer confidently about your parents' occupation, perhaps your job status or your current status at the time of attending the visa interview, or if you have any sort of property or assets back in India, which ensures that in case you're not able to secure a job in the US, you will not be desperate enough to immigrate illegally. Therefore, it's good to have documentation that shows some sort of amounts in the bank, mutual funds, or any other assets, or even immovable assets here. You can also talk about your family background and what your parents do for a living. That gives enough confidence that you have enough of a base here. Again, nobody is really going to sit and check documents. Don't make the mistake of pushing documents in front of the visa officer. Answer confidently and have definitive answers rehearsed properly. If you're able to show that there's enough of a background back in India, that lack of ties to the home country may not be a reason for your rejection beyond this. Alright, reason number 5. And why I put this at number 5 is because this is a little bit of a gray area. It's a sort of an it depends answer, which is the intent to immigrate. Now, most visa officers might ask you what your plans are after you do the degree. Now, some students want to play it completely safe and say, I just want to do the degree for exposure and I want to come back, right? Which may not be the best answer because it's not practically true, right? Now, the ideal answer for this would be for you to state that you want to get a job in a particular sector at a particular American company, perhaps utilize your OPT period if you're doing a STEM designated degree, get that experience and then come back to your home country. Now, even though there's a very legal H-1B visa process through which you can stay in the US for a much longer period in time, it's better that you don't tickle that bear at this point in time. Say that you want to gain some experience and you want to always come back to India. Don't say that you want to stay for years and years and years and earn millions of dollars. That might put a little bit of a doubt in the visa officer's mind. A balanced answer here is important. Now, I've seen people who said they want to come straight back get rejected. I've seen people who said they want to get the H-1B and then even get a green card later get accepted. It really depends on the 4 factors that I mentioned before this, with factor number 1 and 2 being far more important than the others. That's why this is reason number 5, but be tactical with your answer. And once again, you should be absolutely fine. All right, as promised, here are some tips that should see you sail through the visa interview. Number 1, be certain about the program that you're attending and why you're attending the program. Be sure about what kind of career opportunities and career growth it opens you up to. Also, maybe have in your mind the kind of professors you want to study under and the kind of subjects you want to take and how they are going to make you upskill. You have to have absolute clarity and have a short answer that is very concise and clear prepared for this. When asked about funding, again, have very short and definitive answers about how your funding is going to be cleared. Be it a loan or be it your parents sponsoring it, or maybe you saved enough and you're sponsoring your education yourself. Be 100% confident and have a short answer prepared for that as well. As long as you are confident and there is no harakiri in terms of how you're funding it, you should be fine. Again, not too many people are really going to check documents there. Number 3, be completely honest. The moment you start lying, you start covering your lies, you get nervous, and that's when visa officers are going to get a little suspicious. Be it your family background, be it your sources of funding, be it your current occupation, be 100% honest about it. Even if your parents are retired or whatever else, be sure about it and talk about what they're doing presently and why they have enough of a background and savings here to cover you in case a job in the US doesn't work out. Being honest is the single biggest tip that I can give you in terms of going for the visa interview. All right, the final and most important point, maybe this is a little too late in case you're going for the visa interview now, but please go to a good university. The moment you go to a good and well-reputed university, most of the doubts in the visa officer's mind are clear. All they're going to ask you is how you're going to pay for it, and that 1 or 2 line answer is going to get you the visa. I've seen most students going to top tier schools have visa interviews that have lasted 30 seconds. They just ask which program they're attending, why they wish to attend the program, and the visa was approved straight away. A good university shows that you're a talented student going to go to the US to work in a legitimate manner, and that will solve your problem. Now, I hope that the most common reasons for visa rejection and the logic behind them is clear to you. The idea of this video is not to make you panic, but for you to have a clear understanding of how visa officers think and how you can avoid certain doubts that they may have in your mind. And I hope this content was useful. If it was, please do like, share, and subscribe. It will mean a lot to us.